Hey, what's up? This is Mahindra Raj. Welcome back to another coaching mini bike. A topic came up during one of my coaching calls, and I'd like to share that. This is a perspective video, right? So, I'm going to ask you a question, and there is no wrong or right answer to this, but it's a fairly important question because how you answer this question, kind of says a lot about what you value and the choices you make already, and the choices you're going to make, right? And so the important question or perspective question I want to ask you is, I'd like you to ask yourself rather, is if you knew that today was the last day of your life, if you knew that, what would you do? What would you do with your last remaining day? So think about that for a while. If today you knew it was your last day on this planet, on Earth, what would you do with your last day? How would you spend your time? Who would you spend it with? What would you do? What would you be doing? And really, how would you choose to feel, right? More importantly, how would you choose to feel on your last day alive? There are a lot of answers to this question, obviously, and I really, it doesn't make a difference what your answer is. You can say, I'll play 24 hours of video games or computer games for it doesn't really matter, but it just shows you whatever that answer is that's coming up in your head right now. It's giving you a little insight into what your motivations are, what your values are in life, right? Obviously, there's no wrong or right. There is no judgment. But what you value dictates, how you live, right? And the decisions you'll make and the actions you'll take. So you could say, I'll spend, my last day with the people that are closest to me, with my family, with people. I asked this question to a friend of mine, and she said, yeah, I'd spend it with my family. And that's fine too, right? If today were my last day, would you be happy? Would you be happy? If you here's taking it to another level, right? If you died right now, if you were going to die right now, would you be happy? That's a slightly different perspective, but around the same thing, right? Around the concept of death. And we don't think about this perspective of death. And we take it for granted. You might have seen one of my short Facebook post videos, Instagram, where I said, do you think the sun's going to rise tomorrow, right? And it's like, we take it for granted, don't we, that the sun's going to rise tomorrow, that we'll live to see another day. That we take it for granted that we have another, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years to live, whatever age you're at right now. We just take it for granted. We don't consider the perspective of death. But it's an important perspective to consider because it brings in and it compresses or shrinks the amount of time you think you have, doesn't it? If you think you got, if you're 20 years old right now and you think you got another 50 years to live or 60 years to live, how you live your day to day, the decisions you make and the actions you take today are predicated on the idea or belief that you have 50 or 60 more years to live. And so you think you have time, and so you'll sit on the couch and play your computer games, or you'll watch your favorite TV series. And don't get me wrong, I do that too, right? But what do you do so much of that maybe you could be doing less and doing other things more, right? But if you were 20 years old and you knew that you only had a day more to live, or a year more to live, wouldn't you live your life differently? Would you still, for example, play computer games the whole day? I wonder, right? I wonder. I mean, I'm not 20 years old right now, but if I went back in time, but okay, whatever age you're at, if you're 40 right now, if you're 30 right now, If you knew you just had one day more to live, what would you do with that time? So think about this question, this perspective of there is no more time, right? We're all going to die. We're all going to die. And we have this amount of time left between now and the day we die. And we don't know really how much that time is, right? Even if you're super healthy and fit, just like I am, there is no guarantee. I don't know what that amount of time is till the day I die. And so if I just keep living blindly like a robot of, automated piece of machine and meat, living every day, doing the same thing I did yesterday, then is there really meaning to it? Or, well, I don't know. Do you even want to live a life of meaning? Do you even want to live a fulfilled life, a life where you feel full? Do you want it? If you don't, then turn off this video right now. Don't follow me. But if you want a life of meaning, if you want a fulfilled life, then these are the questions you got to consider and sculpt your decisions and actions around them, right? Based on your answers around them. And here's an important point. Like, I live on this beautiful island, totally living my dream, doing what I love, right? I've got all my needs met being here and living here. And yet, if I just allow blindly each day to go on as it did yesterday, if I allow it blindly, right? If I do not put intention into designing each day, into choosing intentionally each day how I will live my day, if I live blindly each day on this beautiful island, the life of my dreams, it will still be a life of monotonous repetition. It will still be just about me waking up every morning, doing my yoga practice, doing my meditation, doing my breathing exercises, and then it's either a coaching day and I coach my clients or not, or if I'm not, it's not a coaching day, or if I got a break between coaching clients, I run out and go free dive, and then I come back and then I hang out with my friends and then we have dinner and blah 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 blah, right? And it's just the same thing again and again and again. So then, even though I'm living on this beautiful island, is there really meaning? Am I really filling myself up, or am I just living a day of repetition again and again and again? So really consider this perspective fully, because it's an important question, really. And like I say, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, this question still applies. This perspective still applies, because we take it for granted, right? We take it for granted that there is time left. But truth is, you don't know how much time you have. So do you want to live a life of meaning and fulfillment or not, right? That's the first question. And if you answered yes, if you want your life to be meaningful and fulfilling, then how must you live each day? What decisions must you make today and tomorrow and the next day, and so on and so forth? Each day that passes, what decisions and what actions will you take to create days of meaning, moments of meaning and fulfillment, right? Life is a series of moments, right? If you look at life as a whole, it's just a series of moments, each moment put together into something we call life. So are you going to fill your days with more moments of meaning and fulfillment or not? And how do you define meaning and fulfillment? Hence the perspective of, the question I asked you. If you knew you were going to die, what would you do with the remaining time you had? Right? That kind of accelerates you into that moment of death and makes you really consider what truly means something to you, right? What is truly valuable to you? Is it the people? Is it the thing you're doing? Is it the computer games? Is it the videos you make for people to share with people? Is it the coaching work that I do? Is it free diving? Is it, whatever, surfing, rock climbing, going to school, right? How would you spend your last day? How would you spend your last day? And when you can answer that question and you know what means a lot to you, what you value a lot, well, then take that answer, right? And do your best to design each day to include that now already, right? Don't wait until you're going to die, right? Don't wait until you know you have only this amount of time to live before you get off your ass and do those fucking things that you're passionate about, or that are meaningful to you, or that fill you up. Why wait till you know you're going to die? Because you know what? I guarantee you, for majority of us, if we do that, if we wait till we're going to die, it's going to be fucking too late, right? And then you'll be, whatever, doesn't matter, it's 40 years old and you're going to die of a disease, or you're 80 years old and you're just dying of old age. It will be a point where you're like lying there and you're like, shit, I wish I'd done that. I shoulda, I coulda, I would have done that if, right? That's how it turned out. So think about it now. Understand what it is that means a lot to you, what you value, and go fucking design each day to include that thing or those things, right? Spend a bit of time. I don't care what it is. Like if it's 5 minutes, if it's 10 minutes, if it's an hour or 4 hours a day, doing those things that really mean something to you, right? That really fill you up. Go do it. This is it for me, right? And I literally relocated myself, moved countries to have more of this in my life, because this means a lot to me. Right, so, think about it really seriously. If you were going to die tomorrow, if you knew this was your last day, what would you do? And then take that thing and whatever that thing is that you think you're going to do on your last day, take it and do it each day from now on till the day you die. And then you can say, I'm living a fulfilled life. And then on the day of your deathbed, you're not going to be full of regret. You're going to be filled up and you're going to be full of gratitude, because you know you've lived a full, meaningful life. All right, take it, apply it, integrate it, do whatever you want with this content. I'm just being in service, and I hope that I can impact you in some way, the way I'm being impacted by the people around me, by my mentors, by my coaches. And it's what I do, and this is the little piece I can do to share these free coaching mini bites with you. All right, so I wish you the best. Go have an amazing day, design your day, and do those things that are meaningful and fulfilling to you. Go create and live the life of your dreams.